Good morning, everyone. I want to start by saying a heartfelt thank you and congratulations to each person in this room. Your selflessness, passion, and dedication to patient care is truly admirable, and it is a privilege to be surrounded by such inspirational individuals. My name is Freya, and last year I was sitting where you are now as a nominee in one of the award categories. I'm now a registered paediatric nurse, currently working in Plymouth after completing my training in Liverpool. Last year, I was incredibly honoured to receive the Student Patient Experience Network Advocate of Tomorrow Award. I left Penna feeling deeply inspired and more motivated than ever to contribute to improving patient care. So when the opportunity arose to return this year, I didn't hesitate, and I can't wait to hear about all of the projects that have been taking place outside of nursing this year. Outside of nursing, I've been focusing on creating a better work-life balance, spending more time in nature, walking my dog, sea swimming, and enjoying anything outdoorsy. I also live with a genetic condition that has meant I've spent a significant amount of time as a patient myself. That personal experience continues to shape the way that I approach care, reminding me of the importance of compassion, understanding, and truly listening to those that we support. My story begins 24 years ago, when I was born unbeknowingly with a genetic condition called Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome. But I will fast forward to the age of 17, at the point where my health began to deteriorate and my journey towards a diagnosis truly began. I had already been living with scoliosis, a condition causing the spine to grow in a curved shape. But everything changed overnight when I had a severe allergic reaction to a painkiller. The reaction left me paralyzed and unable to walk. In an instant, the life that I knew it was taken from me, alongside my independence, my education, and the comfort of my own home. At 17, you think you're so grown up and that you know how the world works, but nothing prepares you for being thrown into an environment filled with pain, loss, and grief. I was suddenly surrounded by the realities of life and death, and I realized just how little I truly knew. In many ways, I was forced to grow up overnight, because what lay ahead was the biggest fight of my life. The months that followed were spent in hospital, hours of physiotherapy, constant rehabilitation, and eventually I gained the ability to walk again. But that initial reaction set off a cascade of complications in my body, activating conditions that I would spend years trying to understand. The years that followed were filled with hard work and determination as I tried to keep my health stable. Despite my efforts, I faced frequent hospital admissions and was diagnosed with multiple more chronic illnesses and struggled with my mental health as a result of the trauma that I had endured. But amidst all of that, something positive emerged, a passion for becoming a nurse. During my darkest moments, the hope of one day supporting young people going through similar experiences to me became my lifeline. I met two women who changed my life, a doctor's assistant named Veronica and a nurse called Phoebe. I'll remember them for as long as I live. They saw where I was at, both physically and mentally, and showed up for me every single day to fight for me until I was strong enough to fight for myself. They made me laugh when I needed it, let me cry when I couldn't hold it in, and advocated not only for me, but for my whole family. Being cared for by them was a turning point. In that moment, I knew I wanted to be a nurse too. I realized what a privilege it would be to be someone's voice and fight for them when they need an army. I promised myself that if I could one day be half the nurse that they are, or make just one person feel the way that they made me feel, I would consider that a success. So, at the age of 19, I moved to Liverpool to begin my training to become a children's nurse. I loved my degree so much, and my training was incredible. But my time at university was far from typical. My health condition presented many challenges along the way, but I was determined to keep going. In my first year of university, my stomach began to fail. This led to a hospital admission and the placement of a feeding tube. Overnight, my disability became visible, and I had to navigate life with a tube on my face, as well as study and work. It felt like starting over, like picking up the pieces of a life that I had built. When your disability becomes visible, people see you differently. I clung on to knowing that I could be a beacon of hope for children and families that I looked after. And after one shift, I saw a little girl point at me and say, "Mummy, that nurse looks like me." These moments carried me through, but the reality is I felt vulnerable and exposed every time I left my flat. I feared that parents would think that I was not capable of looking after their children due to my disability. Thankfully, my return to practice was largely a positive experience, and with time I became stable on feeds, enabling me to do what I love most, which was nursing and making a difference to children and their families. For a while, I was able to help other young people in the way that I had needed when I was 17. As I entered my third year of university, shortly after having a surgical tube placed, my body stopped tolerating feeds and my intestines were no longer absorbing nutrients properly. I pushed through my final year between hospital admissions, barely holding on, but I made it. I was a qualified nurse and I had everything I thought I wanted. Yet inside I felt like I was running on a treadmill that I couldn't get off. My body was failing, but I couldn't bring myself to slow down for fear of letting others down and losing the future that I had worked so hard for. In the end, the decision was made for me. I was admitted to hospital and told I couldn't start my job. It was both a moment of devastation and relief. Relief because I couldn't physically stop on my own. The news came just days before the 2024 Penn Awards. I arrived that day heartbroken, truthfully dreading being surrounded by healthcare, but I left with a renewed passion and determination to get better so I could one day stand alongside the incredible people that had inspired me all day. I wish I could say it was a case of being admitted, treated, and discharged, but with a rare condition, it's rarely that simple. I spent the following 4 months in hospital, including Christmas Day. I became life-threateningly malnourished, and on the 2nd of January 2024, I went into septic shock and nearly lost my life. I'm sure many of you in this room know what sepsis is and how serious it can be, but I hope very few of you ever have to know how terrifying it is as a patient. As a professional, I had witnessed countless MET calls, but nothing prepared me for being the person laying on that bed. It was the worst experience of my life, made bearable only by the incredible team around me. 2 nurses who knew me well stood at either side of my bed, holding my hands, reassuring me that they were there, and calming my fears about my dad, who was stood in the room watching it unfold. It was made bearable by the emergency team, who, even in the chaos, explained every single thing that they were doing. And ultimately, it was made bearable and survivable by the whole team who saved my life and gave me the opportunity to figure out what I wanted from life and go on living in a way that made me truly happy. I owe everything to those people. I think as healthcare professionals, sometimes we forget the gravity of what we do. We see unwell people every day and the enormity of it can get lost. But every day we are changing lives, we are saving lives, and we are shaping the experiences of those in our care. That is huge. It's beautiful. It's a bit stressful, but above all, it's the greatest privilege. There are people walking this earth today, living the lives they love and seizing opportunities because of you, every person in this room. Thankfully, I'm able to stand here today and tell my story at a time when I'm truly thriving. I'm being weaned off tube feeds, managing my EDS well enough that I can live an active life beyond work and my illness, and I've recently returned to work as a children's nurse, back in the very hospital where I was once a patient back when I was 17. The full circle moment of this is not lost on me. To now stand alongside the very people who inspired me into this career feels extraordinary. This hospital first knew me as a frightened teenager, and 7 years later, it welcomed me back with open arms as a proud paediatric nurse. Today, I stand shoulder to shoulder, albeit in different areas of the trust, with Veronica, Phoebe, and all of the incredible people who shaped my journey along the way. Living with a misunderstood health condition often means receiving care that falls short of compassionate. I've experienced this reality more than once, but equally in some of the darkest moments of my life, I was fortunate enough to be cared for by some extraordinary people. People whose kindness not only saved my life, but changed it. The care that I received was so profound that it was the very reason I chose to become a nurse. I wouldn't be standing here today sharing my story with you if it weren't for the people who helped me fight my battles and gave me a voice when I felt like mine was lost. Without them, I wouldn't be a practicing paediatric nurse. They inspired me to be the same source of hope and positive change in someone else's story. What struck me was it didn't take something drastic to make a difference. For me, it was the HCA who sat by my side while I cried through the night until I fell asleep. It was the moments of laughter and light-hearted banter when I thought I'd forgotten how to smile. It was being listened to, having my worries taken seriously, and being advocated for in ward rounds. And it was the simple but life-changing kindness of letting my dog visit me in hospital. Watching these people in action inspired me deeply, and I knew that one day I had to join them. Patient experience is at the heart of everything that we do as healthcare professionals. It should guide every decision that we make. I know that I'm speaking to the converted here, but the truth is that compassionate nurturing and positive care is pivotal to a patient's healing and recovery. It doesn't take grand gestures. Often it's about finding out what really matters to a patient and seeing if we can make it happen. Some of the hardest days of my life were made bearable because I knew that at 6 p.m. every evening, a wagging tail would come running down the corridor to my hospital room. Of course, there will always be requests that aren't possible or are inappropriate, but you'd be surprised how much can be done when we approach care with passion and creativity. It might be as simple as getting a patient outside for some fresh air, finding food that they enjoy, or offering small comforts that make a difficult situation a little lighter. These little things are not little at all. They make a huge difference to recovery and to a patient's motivation to get better. So think about what you can do to elevate the patient experience in your own practice. Most importantly, meet your patients with warmth, compassion, and a smile. Listen to them, protect their dignity, and give them your time. Those are the things that they will remember, and those are the things that will change their lives. All too often, the media focuses on the negatives: long wait times, budget cuts, and headlines that paint a bleak picture. And in the midst of that noise, the incredible work that you do goes unnoticed. The innovation, passion, and care within our profession is rarely celebrated because the spotlight is fixed on the challenges. But today is different. Today you won't be forgotten. That is why Penna matters. It is a chance to celebrate you, to acknowledge you, and to thank you for everything that you do. You are the reason that patients have positive experiences. You may well, in fact, be the reason that someone chose a career in healthcare. You are more than a statistic, and you are certainly more than a negative headline. You are the very best of our health service, and you should feel immensely proud of all that you have achieved and continue to give. You're the beating heart of our health service, working together, going above and beyond to improve the patient experience. You see every individual who walks through the door and adapt your care to meet their needs, rather than using a one-size-fits-all approach. You're also the ones that are educating other people to do the same. As a patient, I thank you so much for supporting people like me who have so often been misunderstood, misrepresented, or mistreated. And as a nurse, I thank you for helping me to shape the future of our healthcare for both patients and staff one step at a time. So today, take a moment to revel in the enormity of what you have achieved. Your work should never go unnoticed. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day celebrating true greatness. If anyone's got any questions, I'm going to open that up.
Just as you're thinking of your question, we met Freya last year, as you heard, she was a student winner. And we knew we hadn't heard enough from Freya, but we hadn't realised how brilliant you were. Congratulations. Questions? Can anyone? Yeah, just an incredible journey. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Are there questions for Freya? Just put, yes, I can see a hand there. There's.
Oh, thank you so much.
Any other questions or comments or just words of wisdom for Freya? I think she's given us enough. A lady at the back, and then I saw a hand just on the, whatever that back row of the bottom bit.
I just wanted to say thank you so much. I'm in bits already at the start of the day, but one thing that really resonates with me is the small things make a big difference. And I think, you know, that should be maybe a theme of the day. We can do so much with so little, which the NHS has so little money right now, but we can make a big difference It's just thinking, as you said, with innovative thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And there is a question just down the aisle on your... Thank you.
It's not a question, Freya. It's just a comment to say, if we could just bottle what you've just done today and, I don't know, prescribe it to everybody just so they could listen to it, I think it would make a huge difference, because you said it so brilliantly and so powerfully. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and there's a question, I've just had a question pointed out over here. Is there a microphone over on the far left? It's my left.
Thank you. I just want to say, apart from having two similarities with you, I have the same dog, and my granddaughter is called Freya. So I really, it's just a comment as well, just to, thank you for sharing with us such incredible story and incredible journey you had. You true inspiration, really, to everyone.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you enjoy the day celebrating yourselves.
Freya, thank you.
Wow. Thank you.